Welcome to the Project 820 podcast. Podcast disclaimer. The following podcast is just a couple guys riffing back and forth about nerdy stuff, current events, hot button topics, and everything in between. Everything is opinion-based, and sometimes facts will be incorrect and misinformed. No one knows everything, and we aren't always fact-checking while we record. Knowing this, be aware when commenting that a constructive correction is always welcome, but a harassing and aggressive retort will be laughed at and dismissed immediately. That's all. Enjoy the show. This is the Project 820 podcast. Thanks, Paul. You fucking asshole.
Teach you to wear headphones.
You're better than all of us?
Oh, you got really close and my testicles are very, Are we recording?
Yeah, I know. Podcast started.
Did it?
We're in it.
We're going.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
This is it. Right now, we're in.
Welcome to the podcast.
All right, we're probably starting there, huh?
No, we could start. No, we'll start. I'll leave most of that shit in.
I want to
honestly.
start with metal vocals.
All right.
Because that's the best way to start anything.
All right, welcome to the podcast, and today we have a very special guest. My little brother, Mr. Varric J. Say hello.
They can't.
Hello. It's really great to be back here on Tuesdays at 21 to win.
Oh, I miss Tuesdays at 21 to win.
That was
really.
basically the original version of this podcast, except a lot shittier because all we could talk about was band stuff.
And that's what we're gonna do today.
Oh boy.
Just not our band specifically.
All right.
The band that doesn't really exist anymore. Mm-hmm. Goodbye. Rest in peace, 21 to Wumbo.
Now I think what the rest of the world is wondering right now, Victor, is why did you leave 21 to win?
I was waiting for that.
Also, I'm here. Hi.
Who are you?
Paul.
Oh, wait. Oh yeah, Paul's here. So Paul, why did you leave 21?
Oh, hey, me first, huh?
Yeah. Out of the three of us.
You were the first one.
You
to
were the
leave.
first one
out.
Okay, so here's a recap for those of you who don't know. We were all in a band together. At the time, it was Hollow, I suppose.
And then the name ended up being changed to 21 to win because we realized how shitty of a name Hollow was.
Yeah. So
I liked Hollow.
I didn't hate it. It's just it was kind of like it felt too generic rock band to me.
It felt too hollow.
A little.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
It wasn't. There's not that depth wasn't there.
But what I liked about 21 to win is that there was actually there was a little bit more meaning behind the name.
Yeah. Like Paul and I had a band called that before.
Yeah.
That's what a meeting was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Remember?
no.
We had 22 to win. I think it
Yep.
was.
Oh, we had a band called 22 to win?
Yeah. Wait. Remember?
Lasted for
I put together
20 minutes.
those two South Park characters, and and our hit single was that one really really gay song we put together.
Was I hit on the head really hard or something? I don't remember this at all.
This didn't happen.
Oh, yeah. We sang it at Lenore Pop's house.
Yes, at
Yeah.
her bonfire.
I remember
What a-
that.
I thought you guys'
remember
hit
that.
single was Your Mom's Face.
Well, that was another one.
That was another one we had.
That was another one? Okay.
Which we should put onto our new
Yeah, that's the one I
project that we're
remember.
working on.
For your guys' new project, maybe you should re-record it.
Your
perhaps.
mom's face.
Well, it never really had anything
It
to
never had real structure.
No, it was just me screaming your mom's face and Victor hitting whatever he wanted on his guitar with as much...
I basically took my shoe off and just beat the string, and whatever noise came out ended up working.
Yeah.
Fun fact, that's how Job for a Cowboy writes all their stuff.
They just scream at their instruments till they make some kind of noise.
They
Yes.
don't even touch them. They just scream
You
at
need to
the
make
instrument.
They get
Your
get
mom
as
hates
close
you.
to the pickups on the guitar as
The
they
guitar
can,
feels
and
bad.
they just growl into it, and they just take that.
They put a whole new meaning to my guitar silently weeping.
Oh.
Yeah.
Except it wasn't silently weeping. It
So
was
why did you
openly
leave
bawling.
Hollow?
Okay, so I left Hollow because you didn't really give a backup on the band. We just kind of talked about everything
We
else.
were in a band.
Yep.
What more do they need to know?
Yeah, we were in a band together, and we toured the world, and
Yeah, we were actually
we
super
all
famous.
we were
Yeah.
just getting out of rehab,
Yep.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we were finally all straight laced. And
You guys
fucking-
probably know that. You guys probably know that one song. What was it? I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. That was us.
Yeah.
That was us.
we did that.
We did
And then
that.
somebody re-recorded it.
Yeah, fucking
fucking
Chumbawamba.
Stole
Chumbawamba,
that.
yeah. And they took a lot of money.
Well, it's okay because we still make money off the royalties.
Because
so.
ours sound exactly like theirs. And
Yeah.
so sometimes you're hearing their version on the radio, sometimes you're hearing ours.
It's hard to tell.
You can never tell.
They get mixed up sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so the reason I left was because I really loved getting together with everybody and playing music in a garage and practicing and getting things ready. I like recording. I like doing all that. But what I don't like is getting up on a stage and having a bunch of people watch me play. Because that's like every mistake that I make then is just like, okay, they think that about me now, and they think that I'm crappy because I made this and that mistake, and so like.
But no one can fucking tell when you made mistakes, because a lot of the time people are just like, that's probably on purpose. That's probably on purpose, because they don't know what's supposed to be right.
Right. Although that one time I remember, and just like the worst things always happen, and it's so stressful when you're trying to play a show, because that one time I was playing and my snare drum fell into my lap. So I had to play the rest of the song with a snare drum in my lap while double bassing. So my snare drum was just like popping back and forth like crazy while my legs are doing the little kicks. And yeah, that was bad.
What show was that?
That was the one at...
Was that at Pov's?
That was in Minneapolis at the...
Station 4.
Yeah.
Battle of the Bands.
Oh, it was so hot there too.
Oh, yeah.
Like I remember drinking... I think I drank just a ton of water. And by the time I got off the stage, I was so sweaty that I was like super dehydrated again.
Yeah.
It was...
Got to see John's man nipples. Mm-hmm. That was nice.
Did you hear what happened to Station 4?
Didn't it get shut down?
It got closed down.
It got condemned.
Yeah, it got closed down because that very same reason.
It's because of the heat.
Because like inspectors were like, this is way too fucking hot to have anything going on in it ever.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then did you see the toilet, the open toilet in the bathroom that was just sitting there like prison style?
Yeah.
So that Shanky Joe could watch you take a dump while
In the
you
ghetto.
know? Yeah, that bathroom was solely for puking in. Like I didn't even feel comfortable peeing in there. It was bad.
that's
Well, didn't someone else come in and buy it, and now they're like renovating it or something? Or
what I've heard. But I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Well, because they have a good stage area.
That's the thing, is they got a good like pit stage set up, but
They
like
just need
it
to
wasn't
they need to
cool
like
properly.
renovate the whole thing and
There's
have
no-
like an actual ventilation system. in it.
Yeah.
Because that's what they were missing.
See, I always thought you left Hollow because you just didn't like hauling shit to the cities. I
I
assume
didn't-
that
I
was
Which
didn't-
part of
that's
it.
also fair.
I mean, yeah, I didn't like doing that, but like I didn't like the whole show thing in general. It sucked because you'd get there and you'd have to listen to like 80 other bands that all sounded way better than you, and then you're like, we gotta follow that? Damn it. And then
It's more fun listening to bands that aren't better than you, because then you're like,
well, they just have to like sit in the back and say, shit, why are we even here? Like,
yeah, because like at that one the battle of the bands that we did,
yeah.
and there was that like they were just like really they were like a bunch of old druggies essentially, but they could fucking play music
Oh,
like
yeah,
nobody's
yeah.
business
I remember.
because they've been doing it for so
They were like an
long.
old cover band that's
Right.
been together for 30 years.
Right, and they were just so good at it and they had like a fog machine, and they had like crazy lights all over the place, and it was just like, damn it, we have to follow that. And then what came after that was, or were we right after that?
I thought we were right after, and then after that was the McNally Smith Super Band,
maybe.
which was a bunch of like freaking like college trained musicians who could all play every instrument on
yeah.
stage, and that was right after us.
And then after that, well, and then before that was a band that their drummer put me to shame by about $1 million. Although a lot of drummers can put me to shame by about
Every
$1 million.
guitarist I've ever played with puts me to shame. So it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. And so and like it took up the whole day, and then you played for a half an hour, and then you felt bad about yourself when
Yeah.
you walked away. So I really like getting together. I really like playing music. I really like recording music, but I don't like performing for people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's like whenever we performed at like your place for like when I played drums and did Your Mom's Face and stuff like that.
Like if it was
Yeah.
just someone's party.
Right, yeah, that's fun because then it's like it's mostly
It's really
about you and
relaxed and-
it's relaxed. You can have fun and so yeah, but I don't like going to places and playing shows. It's just not my thing.
It's hard because it sounds like the perfect situation for you would be to skip being a shitty band and just jump right into nationally acclaimed band.
Well, I think that's the perfect thing for like everyone.
I think that's
So-
that's almost
the ideal.
everybody's goal at some point.
yeah. Because I don't. Does anybody like doing shows when you're first starting out, or do you
I
just
don't-
do it because you have to?
I don't think so. It's I don't know. Whenever I've been in a band that's like first starting out and we're playing shows, they have never gone over well. The only time that I could actually think that like a band was like first starting out that I was in and the show actually wasn't terrible was when we played Belgrade. Like the very first show that Hollow had with a full lineup, and we
Yeah.
ended up winning that Battle of the Bands somehow.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think a part of it was like the only other two ones we were competing against were like Johnny Allen, Save the Girl, and Wicked Poser.
Wicked poser.
Yeah.
I feel bad because I bash people, but I don't really feel bad.
So, Victor, why did you leave?
Well, actually, technically in the timeline, it's Varric's turn.
Oh,
shit.
okay,
It's
okay,
me.
okay.
Yeah.
Holding out till the very end.
Oh man, you're just because this guy's story's gonna be good. He's like, well, after I had relapsed, you know?
Well, don't tell his story. Let him.
Oh, all right, all right.
You
You
start
tell
with,
yours.
You start with your freaking whiskey.
So
bitch
after
story.
your relapse.
all right. Well, this is after I just got done raising my third bastard child. We'll call him Varick Jr.
All right.
I came home to my beach house, and I noticed that my loving wife was in bed with our groundskeeper. We'll call him Victor.
You said you wouldn't use my real name.
I didn't. I used Victor with a C.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair.
Isn't that how you spell Victor?
Don't tell anybody.
All right.
Okay, real talk. I don't know. My story is kind of similar. I had, stuck around since the beginning of Halloween 21 to Win and all that stuff. And to me, it just got to a point where we were just handed like shitty show after shitty show. And it was really, really hard to be excited about anything that was going on. There was a lot of arguing going on as well, like just within the band. And I didn't really like being any part of that. There was, all this other stuff, and it wasn't that I wasn't, like, proud of the music that 21 Win was making. Like, I still really, really love Chronicle. Like, I listened to it the other day, and I'm like, man, this was worth, like, the year and a half it took to actually make these 7 songs. But at the end of the day, like, I just kind of reevaluated everything, and I was just, like, really fucking depressed all the time, and I'm just like, I need a break from just music in general. So...
Well, it's like when it stops being fun. I mean, that's always been an overlooming thing. And, like, it sounds like, especially for you, you got to the point where instead of being excited for practice, you dreaded practice.
Yeah.
You're just like, you know what I'd rather be doing right now? Anything else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
and for me, that's, like, not a normal thing. I fucking love playing music no matter what the scenario is.
Sure. Yeah, but like with every passion, recently I kind of went through a little thing with technology. Like I'm really on top of most technology as far as like Linux administration, that kind of stuff goes. And recently I was just like, work was getting really hard, and like I was stressed out, and stuff just wasn't really going right for me. So I said screw it for a while, and I quit watching all my regular podcasts, and I just pretty much completely unhooked from the world, and I was just like, screw it, I'm just going to take like a 2-week break and figure out what I want to do after this. Like I was actually, like I didn't know if I kind of liked programming for a little while, and I was like, I was going to stay at my job because obviously, but
I need money.
yeah, but yeah, then, after a while I got through that, and the little break from knowing everything was kind of nice, and
Yeah.
So yeah, I know where you're coming from there. Because
Yeah, and that, honestly, like, as much as, like, I miss playing with 21 to Win, I honestly don't regret leaving, really. Because, yeah, I think it got to a point where I just realized, like, maybe just this particular position, this particular band just isn't for me, and then I took a couple months off, like, from just music in general. I didn't write anything new. I didn't go to any shows. I hardly talked to anyone I knew in the music scene. I just kind of stepped back from it, and then, when I decided it was time to get back into it, I was able to start a new band, which I'm in now, and I'm extremely happy.
It did kind of sound like you were just like kind of burnt out from the whole thing, like everything that had to do with music.
Yeah, just
So
it was
kinda
was all of it. Like I just was.
Well, you've been
not happy.
consistently in bands for what, 3 years at least.
Since I was like 14, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
So it's just kind of like, and that's the thing is like, because when I joined Hollow, I hadn't touched my guitar in 2 years. So it's kind of like that was my coming back.
Right.
So I actually had like a lot of like a vigor, and like I was ready to go.
really,
and
you didn't play like at all for like 2 years?
No, my amp and guitar just collected dust in a closet for
I suppose I didn't.
a long time.
See,
I didn't play
Victor
drums
had
for,
this
like, 2
lady.
years.
You
Yeah.
see. Victor had this lady that he had to put all his attention towards.
Yeah.
that's right.
I also didn't see you, Paul, for 2 years either. So
That's true. Yeah.
You were just kind of like went into this Narnia type closet and just didn't come out for like 2-3 years.
Yeah, and then I came out and I had just like a beard and was just like, hello everybody, I missed you.
You had a beard, you had a great recipe for chicken Alfredo, and you had a lot of knowledge regarding One Tree Hill.
Yeah, I've seen every episode of One Tree Hill.
How is it? Is it good?
It's a pretty solid, you know?
This week on One Tree Hill review.
It holds up. It does. No, it holds up.
I don't even know what
that's
show's
okay. I mean, we
about.
both have respectively watched all of Glee, so
That's true, we have.
Wow.
Oh, okay, not all of Glee. I don't know about you, but I like. I
no.
fell off
Yeah,
after,
no,
like-
don't backpedal now and be like, well, I haven't watched it all.
Okay.
Well, I keep
You
forgetting.
just admitted.
Okay, I keep forgetting that they kept making episodes after like season 4.
The thing is, don't watch the last season that came out. Don't even bother, because it'll make you mad. Just don't worry about it.
Well, they killed the main character.
Okay, they didn't kill
Well,
the main
okay, he
character.
killed himself,
He
but-
killed the main character.
All right.
And cocaine.
So I have a confession. I've watched
Vampire Diaries?
I've watched a lot of Grey's Anatomy.
Ooh. Isn't there like 50 seasons of that?
Yeah, and they get really bad after a while because
Yeah.
they take this one character and his dad dies, and then he gets all mad about it and he never gets over it, and like his character wouldn't have acted that way, and then the show just goes crazy downhill.
After
So-
that's just like, the fuck?
So like the first couple seasons are pretty good actually, but then after that it's just like this is dumb. And like Amy really likes the show up until about I think it's like season 3 or something, and then she's like, meh.
It was weird watching the last season of Glee because, I mean, yeah, one of the main characters died in real life. So it was kind of interesting watching them take this season that they were on when he died, and they kind of buttoned it up. And then the next season, I don't know if they just decided then, this is it, we're done now. So they took one season to wrap up everything. So they were just like, all right, let's go ahead and we'll just put a little bow on everyone's storyline. Let's write out half the characters initially. Like, because what was it? I mean, the whole premise behind, I know that last season was jumping, the last season where Corey Monteith was in it, it was jumping between the people that were in New York and the people that were still at the high school, and they'd introduced a lot of new characters to keep the high school thing going and everything, and so it was still like the Glee Club and all the people that had graduated that were in New York and all that stuff.
Right.
Well, for the last season, I don't know if they just decided, all right, we're just going to polish it off. They wrote out everyone in the high school thing, and they just completely stepped away from that. So it has nothing to do with that at all. Then they just focused on the people in New York. They take the few people that are there, they bring back a couple older people, and then like they just polish it off, and they gave Rachel her own TV show, and that was the end. and you're done. It's just like, I don't know. It pissed me off to no end because the season where Corey Monteith died, they made an effort to like make you like get interested in the new characters. So like all of a sudden I'm genuinely interested in what's going to happen to these other people, and they're just like, who's this person? Oh God, I write them away. Goodbye.
Is that just how you picture Glee's writing staff? Just
Now it's just like now a different show with the same name but totally different characters.
But they can still sing show tunes sometimes.
and they don't sing anymore. They don't sing. We don't write singing.
we don't.
They give each other high fives, shoot up some like fucking heroin, and then just take naps.
Yeah.
That's
And
what I
that's-
imagine like backstage of Glee is like as soon as
Glee
shooting is
2.0.
done,
What if they
like-
end it? Oh, go ahead.
like as soon as shooting is done, like a third of the cast goes off and does heroin, a third of the cast goes and takes a nap, and then like a third of the cast like I don't know sits on Twitter until they have to
They just tweet for like 48 hours till they do the next episode.
until they have to film next.
What if they ended it all with, like a dream sequence where somebody wakes up and they're like, "What a weird dream."
Fucking Will Schuester just wakes up at the end of all this, and it's like the day before his like first day teaching, and he's like, "Shit, that's not a good idea at all."
What was that? God, what was it? There was something with Bryan Cranston, I thought, where like he ended up waking up from a dream on something, and they took him and his wife, the actress who played his wife from Malcolm in the Middle. And they like woke up and he was going on about a nightmare he was having or something, and she's like, "Just go back to bed."
Oh, yeah,
you know?
yeah, I
But I
remember
don't remember
that.
what show that was though.
That was on Family Guy.
Was it Family Guy?
Yeah, it was Family Guy where he wakes up and He's like, there was a talking dog, and it's just so weird. It wasn't even funny. It
Yeah.
was just, and then she's like, just go back to bed.
And I just love. I laugh because I'm glad they got like the actress to come back for that too and everything. So they like made it like solid.
Because that joke wouldn't have worked unless it was the same guys.
Yeah.
So speaking of dream sequences, or not quite dream sequences, but in Twilight,
Oh, keep it up.
where they have
Don't
you
fall
guys
off.
seen this Twilight? I don't know which one it is.
This Twilight thing.
I only
It's the
ever
one-
saw the first one.
I have seen
Okay.
every one, so go for it.
Okay, so at one point, there's this big battle. that
Spoiler
happens.
alert.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert. So at one point,
For the fucking movie that's been out for like a year and a
yeah,
half.
and
one
if
gives a
you
shit.
haven't watched it, good, don't. Me and Amy watched it because, oh my god, this is gonna sound horrible.
Anyone at this point who hasn't
were-
seen Twilight doesn't give a shit.
No, so me and Amy were on our honeymoon and we were flipping through the
You
channels.
watched Twilight on your honeymoon?
Twilight.
Fuck, dude.
Like instead of fucking sitting here banging and drinking and
Well,
enjoying
partying up.
like the beach or something.
You can't do
To
that
the beginning
all
of
the
our
time.
new marriage.
Yes, you can.
Plus, we were in Florida, and we had just woken up after going into a coma for a couple hours because we decided to stay up all night and then get on a plane. So we were up for 36 hours before we finally went to bed, and we had to like run around and get a bunch of things taken care of in Florida because we like won a cruise, which you've heard of already.
Right.
But, so we were so tired, we just immediately got into our hotel room, passed out. We woke up, we ordered pizza, and we were just like, we're both still kind of half groggy, so we're like, you want to watch some TV for a little bit? So we did. And yeah, we watched Twilight. Anyway, 'cause it's the only thing that's on. Like, TV is so bad. Like, Netflix has spoiled us so much where it's just like, I want to watch a movie. And then you go through it and you can pick exactly what you want to watch, you know? Yeah, and then you look back on normal TV and you're like, this is crap.
Why
Anyway.
does this exist still?
It's like I
So-
had to wait a week to watch the next episode.
That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, yes, it is. Anyway, so, but also the Netflix model of, here, binge watch this season and then wait a year. Anyway, so, so this dream sequence thing, spoiler alert, again.
Yeah, right.
They get in this big fight, a bunch of main characters die, they kill this main bad vampire, a big crack opens up in the middle of the ground, crazy stuff happens, werewolves are coming in from the side and fighting alongside these vampires because there's like a child or something. The whole idea is dumb. Anyway, so this crazy action scene happens, and then all of a sudden, it was just somebody who could read the future, was putting into the mind of the main bad guy and was like, that'll happen. It was like 30 fucking minutes long dream sequence, and they walk away. Why? That's like, okay. It's like, hey, do you want some lemonade? You know, this lemonade's really good. It's got Coke in it. Yeah, here. You want this Coke in it? Yeah, it's not lemonade. Here's water. What? Ah! Not
That's
a fan of Coke,
essentially-
by the way.
I wonder how that, because I never read the Twilight books or anything, so I wonder if that's how it played out. Like, just reading through it, like, the chapter begins, and they just go into describing just this elaborate fight sequence, and then the very end of the book is like, and then, yeah, none of that actually happened.
It's
Fuck
probably
you.
like 8 chapters.
I wonder who was.
you
yeah,
invested
probably.
8 chapters. At the very beginning, it should have said skip next 8 chapters, and just like
I just
there.
wonder if you're reading this for the first time and you get the book and you get to the part and it's just like, and then Alice pulled away from the vision, and finally X person was like, oh God, we can't do this, we're all gonna die. I wonder if you would like literally take your book and just eat it, or just like,
Like, there's instructions. It's like, all right, you may now set your book on
No.
Yeah,
The Twihards.
now you can fucking
No.
piss
The
on this and
Twihards would
burn
be
it.
like crying, like this is amazing. He's not actually dead. I'm so happy. That's not how storytelling works. Like, for instance, another really big spoiler alert, because this is a newer movie. So, if you haven't seen the new Sleeping Beauty, what's that called? The one with, what's her name?
Snow White and the Huntsman? Is that what you're thinking?
No. It's the one with, the one about the evil...
Maleficent?
Maleficent, yes.
Oh, okay.
Have you guys seen it?
I have not, but I also don't care.
Same.
Okay. Okay, so anyway, gigantic spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it yet, probably skip ahead. But, so, they build it up this whole time like it's going to follow the story exactly. And in the story, Maleficent is killed.
Ooh.
So what ends up happening is Maleficent is actually the one, she kisses the forehead of the girl. Because Maleficent ends up, like, she follows the girl for the longest time. And she like really cares about her in the end. And so she's really mad that she put this curse on this girl, and she tries to take it away, but she can't take the curse away. So then she falls into this sleep, when she turns 16. And Maleficent, like, takes this young prince boy and, like, pretty much coaxes him in to go kiss the girl to try and wake her up. And he kisses her and nothing happens. And he's like, oh. And then and then Maleficent goes in and she's like all sad and she's crying, and then she kisses her forehead and starts to walk away, and she wakes up because Maleficent loves her like in like a child kind of way, like I love my child kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, she's not a bad person after all. So anyway, then the king starts to fight her, and like the whole time you're thinking, all right, this makes sense with the normal tale, because when people would tell what actually, what they thought happened, they'd say that the prince fought Maleficent and killed Maleficent and then kissed her, and then it was like, oh, happy ever after, because they got their story wrong. And it was genius. And I was like, oh my God, she's going to die. That sucks because I like her, but it's going to be the perfect ending. And they don't kill her. And it's like, I get why you did it, because it's a child's movie, kind of, and you don't want it to be sad.
Because Disney.
But if they would have killed her in the end, it would have been the perfect freaking movie, because it would have still tied directly to the old tale.
Yeah.
And it would have been so perfect, and it was just like, damn you! I get why you did it. I get it. I'm all right with it, but damn it.
I'm all right with it just a little bit.
Yeah.
I really wish you had done it the right way.
And honestly, it was a very good movie for being a child's movie. It was really, really good. But yeah, just that ending, she had to die, and they didn't do it. Brr.
Of course not. It's
Yep.
Disney.
So sorry for people listening who wanted to watch it. I just ruined it for you.
Oh, wow.
You're welcome.
That
You know-
movie did not bring me in at all. Like, I had
Yeah?
zero ambition to go watch it.
Oh,
So it's
really?
just like, whatever.
Well, Amy wanted to watch it, so I was just, yeah, I'm sure, whatever.
Really, you should be apologizing to the Twihards here, because we just spoiled, so much of it. I mean, here in 2014, when the last movie came out. how
She
many
picks
years ago?
Edward. All right. So,
Damn it! Does she really?
yeah.
You'd be surprised how many people still come to my work asking if we have Twilight merchandise, and every time I just give them this weird look. It's like you realize that that's like over.
Yeah. It's like walking
The
in
last
being
movie
like,
came out, what,
"Do you
2
have-
years ago?
Do you have Lord of the Rings merchandise?
We have Hobbit merchandise.
That's not Lord of the
Can
Rings.
suck my dick.
Is anything with Frodo on it?
Frodo. Fuck.
Yeah.
Bilbo, bitch.
When is the next one coming out?
December.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm excited.
Is that going to be the
Desolation
last
of-
one, or are they going to try and milk it a few more movies?
I don't know, because they said they were going to do 3, but, Peter Jackson just like, well, this third movie, I have so much content, let's just do 5.
Yeah.
Is
you,
that
need-
really?
you need to factor in like the hour
okay.
of just landscape shots of New Zealand.
Yes. Well, I heard that they were actually taking some footage from Lord of the Rings and putting it in the last movie. So at this point, it's like, are you legitimately just adding fluff? Like,
Well, yeah. I
like
think
look at this shot of Gandalf standing. Wait,
like-
wait a second, that's from Return of the King.
I kind of get it, though, because it's kind of like those were his glory days. Those are probably, like, the funnest. Like, getting that cast together, working with those people, was probably just a ton of fun. And 3 movies, you get, pretty good bond between you and everybody that's working. And you'd want to really bring that back. And so I get totally why he's pulling The Hobbit.
Well, because
into
they
3.
shot The Hobbit the same way they shot Lord of the Rings. Is they did it all in one shot, and then
Oh, they did?
yeah, no, they did all 3 in one go.
Oh.
Yep.
And then they just did editing?
Yeah,
Through it?
they
Wow.
did it the same way they did
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Huh. Did you know, like, he's super, like, he made a comic book of Lord of the Rings before he even started shooting.
Peter Jackson did, or
Yeah, I think it was Peter Jackson and, like, some help. But they made, like, a full comic of everything that they wanted to happen.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I would love to see that in comic book form. And then like last page, plot twist: Deadpool just
Yeah,
comes
Deadpool
in.
comes in, chimichanga stab.
Yeah, I don't know if the
Deadpool,
last
man.
if the last year or so of movies has taught me anything, is that maybe, just maybe, some things should just stay dead.
Probably.
Like, there's a part of me that legitimately believes that Robin Williams killed himself just to keep Mrs. Doubtfire 2 from happening. Like, just as sacrifice.
Oh, that might be a little early.
It might be. But
But
think about that. Mrs. Doubtfire 2 was gonna happen, and it probably was going to be terrible.
But it wouldn't have happened with Robin Williams. They would have found somebody else.
No,
They
he-
would have.
no, he was on it.
They would have been like,
he was in the project. No, he was gonna do it.
oh really?
Think about it. He was dressing up as an old woman. He's an old guy. He was an old guy. Like,
I
it would have been
suppose.
even easier to do the shit.
That would have made sense. Yeah.
I don't know, like, it's just been really upsetting me lately how apparently no one can let anything stay dead. Like, just
Yeah.
in the last week alone, I heard that apparently in like 2015 or 2016, they're bringing back Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, I heard about that.
They're completely rebooting the series.
I know they're doing a new Power Rangers movie.
They're doing a new Power Rangers movie. Dumb and Dumber 2 comes out in November. You know, last December we had Anchorman 2. You know,
Yeah, and it's
That's because original stuff just doesn't catch anymore.
No.
Like, there's no one out there writing. Like, what was that movie with Scarlett Johansson? Lucy? Is that
Yeah.
what it's called? I heard that did amazing, and it was a completely original story,
that is
which is
surprising.
shocking.
You know, I wonder if it's because of things like Netflix, where you can literally pull up anything that you can't pull up anything that you want. You can pull up a lot of stuff.
Between the internet and Netflix, though, you literally can pull up anything.
Yeah,
Like,
and there are definite like illegal ways to pull up anything you want to.
I think what really like tipped my hat to all this is that I read this story last week, and apparently, and I don't know if you guys have heard this or not, they're in the talks of rebooting Full House.
yeah, I saw that.
No,
That's what I thought. Except mine was more like, no!
Mine was this
No!
like agonizing scream to the heavens.
Like they have like almost all the original cast on board for it too, and they were talking about doing a
well,
Friends
yeah,
reunion as
what-
well.
but yeah,
and Boy Meets World got rebooted like
Yeah.
already last summer.
But of course they're gonna do it. Like, what have any of those people done? Bob Saget. Well, the Olsen twins are pretty.
They have their own like fashion.
Yeah,
line. They're pretty well off.
They're doing pretty good by themselves. But like,
John Stamos is doing all right.
Yeah.
'cause- yeah, didn't he go on like ER or something after the show wrapped? or
Yeah, and he
something?
did a bunch of guest roles on
is he
fucking everything.
Jesse, who is he?
Yeah, he was on
Yeah,
Jesse.
he was on Jesse.
Well, then
and
Dave Coulier, he just got married to someone who's fucking bomb tits gorgeous, so he's not exactly doing too bad.
Bob Saget.
Like-
Bob Saget just got done doing How I Met Your Mother
Yeah.
without anyone.
Oh yeah,
noticing.
that's right. Because
He
he was the
Ted,
narrator.
He was the narrator for whatever.
Did you
reason.
know that at the very beginning, they recorded the children?
Yeah.
They recorded all of the children at the very beginning, because otherwise they would have grown up.
Yeah.
So they
They
did
did it all in the first season. They just did all the kid shots.
Yep.
And then
Like even the ones like in the last episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
which fucking just makes my head explode, because it's just like, so you really planned this shit from day one is what you're telling me.
For the record, I absolutely fucking hated like the whole twist at the end of How I Met Your Mother, and it was kind of for the whole reason behind like
Spoiler alert.
behind Maleficent. You know, it kind of goes back to that. Like, okay, so yeah, spoiler alert. At the end of How I Met Your Mother, you know, yeah, Ted meets his mom and they get married and they have
Not
two
his
kids.
mom, the kid's mom.
Whatever.
His wife.
He meets the mother. I can't talk today. It's early. And yeah, they get married. They have kids. They're really, really happy. But then, of course, the mother dies.
Yeah.
The mother dies because we can't have nice things. And then it cuts back to Ted Mosby old. He's like in his 50s or something. And he's like, okay, kids, that's How I Met Your Mother. And the kids are like, okay. So why are you telling it? It's like, I was just telling you a story. It's like, okay, mom was barely even in that story. Like, why don't you just be straightforward with it? You have the hots for Aunt Robin.
Yeah. Like,
And I'm just like,
well,
no, please don't do this. Please don't do this.
Oh, they're gonna.
And yeah.
cut
so-
to
so the-
Robin in
so
her
the kids
future
are all-
apartment.
Yeah.
So yeah, the kids are all like, yeah, no, it's fine. Go after Aunt Robin.
Well, didn't they say too? It's like mom's been gone for 6 years or something.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
at the time.
You know what drove me crazy about the end? They took an entire season about Robin and Barney getting married, and then in the last episode, divorced them.
Yeah.
Within the first 20 minutes. It's like,
within the first 5 minutes, they were just like, guess what? Here's fucking 13 episodes just showing like this relationship finally coming to fruition, and it's like everything's great.
and it's dead.
It's gone.
Well, it's like what bugs me about this is that honestly, a more realistic and maybe more satisfying ending is that Robin and Ted don't end up together.
Yeah.
Because realistically, that wouldn't have happened at this point.
I will say, the way they did the Barney thing with having him like he pulled aside some random girl and like he gave her this like really sad speech. It's like, you will always be like, you know, like the most important thing to me, yada yada yada, like just the sweetest shit ever. And then like he sits back down and he's like, I will never be that guy. And then the girl looks just like defeated because she just got like this amazing speech told to her by a stranger, and he's just like, no, go away. But then they had that at the end when he said the same thing to his daughter who was just born, and it was just like, oh, my feel strings.
So
You're pulling on him.
even though like he couldn't be a good husband or a good partner, he could
Yeah.
be a good dad.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And
the thing. Is
so,
like they broke up. I feel like they kind of like broke up all the realism of the show just for the sake of a happy ending. Because the thing is that if you go through the entire season of the show, it explains in really good detail why like Ted and Robin would be fucking terrible together.
Yeah.
And why Barney would in fact be a pretty awful father. So, and then at the end they're just like, oh, but that's gonna happen anyways because happy. Everybody's happy.
I guarantee-
Everybody's happy.
I think at the
You know who's not happy? The dead mom. She's dead. They killed her off,
The show's called How I Met Your Mother, and then it's just like
and then they kill her.
it should be more like How I Killed Your Mother.
How I Met Your Dead Mom.
Now that'd be a cool show. How I Killed Your Mother, and it lays out the same way. It's like, oh, I haven't met it yet. So not only do they have to meet, but they have to like
They
develop
take
a
7
relationship,
seasons
have
to
kids,
go over
and then
fucking
kill her.
And
serial
then every
killer
once in a while, there's just like creepy laughs, like, and that's when I knew. I didn't know that your mother was at that bar that night.
And that's why the lampshade looks like her shoulder.
Oh wow, wow.
Whoa,
Okay.
easy, Jeffrey Dahmer.
I may have skinned your mom. Sorry.
No one said anything about that. We said killed. Like, bam, gunshot to the head. It could have been on accident even.
Right.
Nope, you just hit right to skinning
Could
people.
could have even been natural causes like cancer. Like the stress that I gave to her gave her, made her body shut down.
No.
So.
Shoulder lamp.
She read my YouTube comments and it gave her cancer.
All right, so Victor is stuck on the shoulder lamp. Maybe we should move on.
Okay. I want to say one more thing about movie, TV, entertainment-y stuff, and then we should jump back to music because we really.
Oh yeah, wasn't that the point of this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We diverted way off.
Oh, right.
We just ended up watching. We finally watched Catching Fire, the second Hunger Games movie, and that was weird because one of the main characters is played by Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Yeah.
Who's dead?
who's very dead.
Damn
very
it, why
dead.
are we losing all these great actors? This
Heroin.
is-
That's the thing. Is he fucking OD'd?
Yeah, I know.
They found him in a fucking hotel room or something. Like,
He had a needle in his arm.
yeah, like, and the thing is he had already shot all the stuff for the next 2 movies too. So we're gonna see him in fucking 2016.
Yeah.
In Mockingjay 2.
I think
or
that's gonna
whatever.
be his last.
That's probably gonna. Yeah, that's gonna be his last appearance in a film.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be his Dark Knight.
But yeah, pretty much.
Are you guys looking forward to Robin Williams' Dark Knight, which is Night at the Museum 3?
Ugh, that's gonna be creepy.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
They have that?
Yeah,
Huh.
from what I've heard, they already
shot all
it.
the stuff.
and
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's also worth saying that, Corey Monteith, beloved actor from Glee, dies, heroin, cocaine. Philip Seymour Hoffman, another beloved actor, dies, heroin. Dave Brockie, frontman of the heavy metal band Gwar, dies of natural causes, heart attack, whatever. I'm just
Heavy
gonna-
metal frontman who should be coked out beyond all belief.
And trust me, if you've seen Gwar, you would have already expected that they were.
Yeah.
But no, he's
He was like, my heart, it stopped.
just like, whoops, I'm too old. Bye.
His heart.
I'm
will-
too old. Bye.
His heart will not go on.
Yeah,
My
in
heart
actuality,
will go
what happened
on.
was Odoros Orongas just went back to his home planet.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
He just went home.
Yep.
Bye.
I mean, you've seen Gwar.
Yeah.
That totally seems plausible.
That's very plausible. Gwar looks like aliens.
Did you watch that video that I sent you about the meets metal guy?
Maybe.
Who he took songs and he made them metal, and he could finger pick like
Are you talking about
It-
E-Rock?
wasn't even hard.
Really long black hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's amazing.
And he's a fucking superhero nerd, too.
Because it's just like.
He's got a Green Lantern tattoo on his forearm.
Yeah,
or
he
whatever.
wore the the superhero movie Kick-Ass, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Where the kid dresses up in the all green suit.
Yeah, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, he wore that, like the pajama suit that the guy had, and
Yeah.
then played metal. And it was
He
just
has so many covers, and they're all amazing. And then
Yes.
he's done a lot of collaborations, too,
Yeah.
with a bunch of other like YouTubers and things, where
Huh.
he just comes on and just sits there and is like, by the way, I can finger pick at 1,000 miles an hour. Like, look at this.
Yeah, no, he just like it's like he's playing piano with a guitar.
Yeah,
it's insane.
I could aspire to be that good, but it would be like a joke.
Is that why you left 21 to Win, Victor?
Oh yeah. I love 21
Oh
to
wow.
Win.
Okay,
let's
back
bring
to
it.
music.
Let's bring it full circle here.
Full circle.
So is that why you left? You saw E-Rock and was like, man, fuck it, I give up guitar.
I can't. I will never be that good.
All right. Because the thing is, like, okay, so
I got off my
coke
coke bender.
Okay.
And I was out of rehab, and I was doing okay. I mean, days were shaky,
Right.
but I managed. One day at a time. That's the whole
Was
thing.
I the only clean one in the band? Why didn't I know this?
Dude, heroin does not make you clean. What the fuck's wrong with you? Heroin is a drug. What's wrong with you?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I thought that was candy.
yeah. That was one weird month.
It's not a drug if you high five afterwards.
I didn't wear one pair of pants for 30 days.
It's not a drug if you high five after. Is that a saying?
I think isn't that referring to like a three-way or something? Like, or I don't remember. Or it's not gay if you high five.
Yes, it's that same concept, except heroin. It doesn't count as relapse if you high five somebody immediately afterwards.
Because that makes it cool enough.
Yes.
Woo!
Oh my god.
You have to high five with the needle just like sticking out of that arm.
And it like bobbles and stuff. And like, yeah.
Ow. My arms hurt now.
My teeth hurt. That's just like, ugh.
Yeah. Okay, continue.
So yeah, I left 21 to Win. I mean, what is it? It's been like 2 months now.
Just about, yeah.
And Varric, you had left what 4 or 5 months before that,
Something like that.
and then you
Yeah.
left like a year and a half
Yeah,
ago. Or
I would say
something.
Varric left even.
It could have been farther
earlier.
back.
I
don't
left.
remember.
It was right. The last show I played was the Red Jumpsuit show.
That was in
which
March.
March.
Yep, that's right. That was in March. So that was.
So yeah, it's been about 4 or 5 months.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I left about a month ago. So, yeah, no, I ended up, I don't know, like, and I kind of put a post up on the Facebook page too, because I kind of said it feels like the quote I was using was adult Victor keeps making guest appearances in my life, and I feel like he should become a regular, because it's kind of like, I don't know, like, I can sit there and go and play shows and piss away money, but I can only do that for so long before, like, I'm not getting any younger. Not that I'm old or anything. I mean, I'm only 25, but it's still, like, there's still that looming, like, oh, by the way, you have a family, and, like, you need to start saving for a house and get, like, a full-time job and all these different things. And, like, what I'm doing now works for the music lifestyle, but I can only do that for so much longer. Mm-hmm. So that was definitely a looming thing. It was just, like, maybe it's about time to wrap this up. Because my last show ended up being your last show. Because we actually hadn't played because we were still acclimating.
You guys were kind of
members.
out a drummer.
Yeah.
After I left.
So we kept trucking along for months, and we had moved our bassist Ryan to drums and kind of brought in. We didn't have a bassist for a long time, and then we brought back our old guitarist John to play bass. And so we had just gotten to a full lineup again, but we still weren't quite show ready. I think we had actually had our first show booked when I decided to leave. And I had talked to John, and I had actually talked to him about he would take my spot just for that show so they could get through that show. Because I felt bad that I was not going to do it because we'd already committed to the show. So I was just like, all right, well, I'll teach you what I can. I think he already knew half the stuff because half the stuff he was in the band for originally because he was the original guitarist or the original lead guitarist. So he was very familiar with some of the stuff. And it was like a 25-minute, 30-minute set or something. So I wasn't too worried about that, but I think then Ryan announced that he was moving to Arizona, so I think he kind of made it clear that he really wasn't in for doing the show either, so I think it kind of just fell apart at that point. But I don't know. That was, I guess I would say that's like the majority of why I left. It's just because it wasn't really working with where my life's at anymore.
So it wasn't like any sort of bad blood or anything. It wasn't.
I mean, there's always like, like band drama and little bitching here and there, which.
But it wasn't anything like, oh, Joe slept with your wife or something.
No, like, and if I had a wife that Joe slept with, that'd be weird because I don't even have a wife. But
if you did have a wife.
If I did have a wife and then he slept with her, man, that Joe would be dead.
So Joe slept with your theoretical wife.
apparently.
Wow.
Fuck you, Joe. My wife.
If you're listening.
If you're listening.
It's really
my
weird how
wife.
like around the same time that like I left and then a couple months later you left. That was like that. Those are like pulling off like the last few Jenga pieces on the tower that was 21 to Win. Because yeah, Ryan ended up moving to Arizona.
Yeah.
Joe is living down in the cities now, so it was he's kind of hard to stay in contact with. Dan just got married and he has a kid on the way too. So
Yeah.
and then John is John.
Yeah, John.
So-
So wait. Is John 21 to Win now?
It might just be John.
It might.
It's just John and Dan, and then they just get together and sing about babies now. 'cause
Wait,
it's-
but do they?
as far as I know, they don't do anything. I'm pretty sure it's done.
We all were like, all of us were together at Dan's wedding and we were all just kind of talking, and no one necessarily said that 21 Win was done, but we all just kind of agreed that chapter was pretty much over.
You know, and at this point, there's like almost too many people gone to try and like.
We're all
be
just like at
21 to win again.
much
So
different
it's
points.
kind of at like a super unforeseen hiatus.
Forever.
I mean,
it's
if-
for a
if-
forever hiatus.
I'll be honest, if circumstances were right and like you, me, Joe, Ryan, Dan, John, hell, even get Paul in on it.
Seven-man band.
If all of us were like, if all of us had like nothing to do for like a week, I would totally be down like just going into the studio and just recording another EP and then just like releasing it and not doing anything else with it.
And just no shows, just fucking EP. Here you go.
No, I don't want to play any more shows, but I would totally be down just to like jam and just write some more shit.
That was part of the thing too, is honestly, because I was getting to the point where, and again, this is part of like, trying to like grow up a little bit, was like the show we had booked was like in the cities, and I was just thinking like, I really, because I think April needed me on that day anyways to watch her kid, and I was just so stressing out about that because I really couldn't be there, but I needed to be there, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
at the same, so it's like, okay, I'm gonna pack up all my shit, like Bad Back and all, drive down to the cities, watch a bunch of bands that are probably worse than us, like, or maybe they wouldn't be worse than us because that would have been our first show back. And it was like a fucking like 12 band show or something. Like it was a really.
So it's gonna be all day.
It was gonna be like a fucking 4 to 10 or 11
Yeah.
thing, and every band like plays for like 25 minutes or something.
Sure.
And it would have been a long. It would have been a long day, and we probably wouldn't have gotten paid anything.
Yeah.
Like it would have been like, let's just play it down the cities to hopefully get 5 people to see us play, and that's 5 more fans maybe.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like at the end of the day, it's just like, I just don't see it's not really worth it anymore. Like I love, performing. The thing is, I actually like playing in front of people. Like I think that's fun. But for how much you have to put into it, for me,
Yeah.
it's just not really worth it anymore. And then the stress of just practicing too and stuff. Because I got to the point where you did, where I was just dreading going to practices and stuff. And like every single time we had one, it was just like, is this a day where I absolutely have to go into practice, or can I pull off not going in today? Can I like what is there a legit excuse I could maybe use to not go? Because I don't know. I just wasn't getting. It wasn't fun anymore. I just like dreaded going and stuff, and it wasn't all just because like, I don't know. There's just a lot of bleh.
Yeah.
It ended just bleh. That's what it ended up turning.
Well, especially
into.
this was still kind of like, off of, we were still kind of fresh off the whole 21 to lose debacle.
That was fun.
What's the 21 to lose debacle?
Should we tell the story?
We could tell the story.
Let's do it.
Let's tell. Okay, so cut back to March, late March, I think. No, was it early March or late March? It was early March because the jumpsuit show was mid March. Yeah, I was like, this was like
Yes.
March, like 2nd, or it was beginning of March 2014 here, and we were set to play. We were actually set to play like 2nd or 3rd, I think, at Bubba's.
We were like fucking opening the show.
Yeah, we were right away
It was at Bubba's in Sauk Rapids.
in Sauk Rapids, and it was booked by what was it, Forsaken Promotions, through like Wingnut,
Jess Johnson.
Jess Johnson.
Yeah, it was American Head Charge.
Yeah, they were the headliners, and I think there was one other. They were touring with one band that was there too. I don't remember who it was though, but that was a show where there was like, God, how many bands were slated?
There
Like,
were like 8 bands.
there was
on
like
that
8
show.
bands set, and we had played with Jess before. We had done stuff, and we'd never had issues
Sure.
at all and stuff. And we did like the Frostfest
Yeah,
too.
Frostfest went all right.
And that was fun. And that was also at Bubba's. So we ended up having one of the guys from Head Charge actually came to us, and they came up to us and they asked if we were willing to move our set to after the headlining set. So we'd be playing at like midnight, like at least that late.
Why did they want to?
Because the thing is the guy's mom, what didn't she have like cancer or something?
Yeah.
And this was going to be the last show that she was going to get to see them play.
Sure.
So it was just like, well, now we can't be assholes.
Right, yeah,
So,
you
so
can't.
we told him, like, you know what, we'll bite the bullet on this one. Like, we had people that had actually driven out and, like, were planning on watching us play at 7. And now I was like, well, you can stick around for 4 more hours and you get to see us play. And it's
We
like,
didn't even stick around for 4 more hours.
well, and we ended up leaving for a while because we were just like, okay, well, I guess we'll be back at like
Yeah.
11,
Yeah.
something like that.
yeah, I wasn't too happy about the whole situation because, like,
Well, you had to work in the
yeah,
morning.
I had to work in the morning. I felt
Like-
I felt like shit. I was pretty sick, and it was like my second to last show, so I had very little fucks left to give.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So
So yeah, I'm pretty sure at one point I leaned over to you. It's like, dude, can we like go somewhere? Because I don't want to stay here.
I think we went back to my place and just kind of dicked around for a while and just
Sure.
relaxed. And
We went. I remember we went out to B-Dubs.
we went to B-Dubs and grabbed some food.
Got some pregame wings, which those were nice.
Yeah.
Pre-game
So we
wings
came
are always
back
nice.
about 11-ish, 11:30 maybe, and we realized they were way farther behind than we thought they should have been because we were looking at it and it's like, even if everything goes perfectly from here on out, now it's lined up, so we're probably not going to get to play till like 1 a.m. At least. So it's like, okay, this is going to be kind of a late night. So things keep progressing, and the third to last band ended up playing, I think instead of doing like a half-hour set, they ended up doing like an hour set.
Wow.
So they played way long.
Yeah, almost every band, at least that we saw, went way longer on theirs. than
Yeah.
they
So
were
by the
supposed to.
time it was about 2:00 that you were gonna play.
Well, okay, because what ended up happening was...
Well, we were still all right. It was just up until Head Charge was supposed to play.
Because in the second to last band, they went over by like, I think 15 minutes. It wasn't horrible, but the thing is, cumulatively, after everyone decided they wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And then Head Charge comes on, and Head Charge, I guess, were set to play for an hour. They were set to play a half hour longer than pretty much everybody else. And Head Charge didn't get started until 1 probably 30 or 1:45.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it took them like an hour to actually take the stage. So there was just an hour where nothing.
There was a
happening.
pretty big gap
For
of
real?
no one
Yeah.
playing.
Why
yeah.
didn't they just chuck you guys in there then, real quick?
Well, here's the thing. There were a couple points where we're like, geez, where's our lovely promoter, Jess Johnson? And turns out, well, he's at the bar and he's completely drunk.
Yeah, he was
Oh.
he was drinking at the bar the whole time. Even though
So
that's
he
kind
didn't
of
give
your
a shit.
job to be the one who's like, all right, guys, let's get going. Like, you're
Right.
up next. Get on stage. Let's start this
Well,
shit.
and even if you are drinking, still you should do your job. Like,
Yeah.
tell
Like,
people.
unless you're completely like black out, completely wasted.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you should, in the back of my mind, it's like, hey, I have a show going on. Maybe I should.
Pay attention.
So
Yeah.
we ended up, what was it? It was 2:30, and Head Charge was still playing.
And we all decided, it's like, dude, at
Wait,
this
2:30
point,
in the morning?
Yeah, and bars close at 3.
Yeah.
Like, you can't serve alcohol. If you're bars have to close even at 3. So it was one of those things where, like, even if they stopped right this second and managed to tear down all their stuff really, really fast, we might have everything set up long enough to play
15 minutes.
maybe, not
Yeah.
even. Like, so it's just kind of like, well, fuck it. So, I mean, we said, screw it. We're like, all right, we're just going to leave because we're not going to get to play. Let's not waste any more time. It's almost 3 a.m. We're all tired. We just want to go home. So we started packing up our stuff, and then Jess came over, and he's like, hey, guys, what's up? And we were just like, man, let's just call it here because we're just going to, like, let's just call it. Let's head out, bite the bullet on this. We understand. And we told him, too. It's like, we just kind of was like, dude, we understand. Bands went over. Some of it was out of his control. The other part in the back of my head is like, this is kind of your job to be keeping these people on time. But
we did understand to an extent. It's like, yeah, a lot of shit just happened.
and immediately he started saying, like, too, it's like, guys, let me book you another show. Like, I have at least 2 or 3 shows that I can get you on right now. Like, tell me which one you want. I will make it work, like, kind of thing. Because he genuinely looked like he felt awful, kind of thing. So. And the thing is that this was Varric's second to last show, and he kept pushing, and I was just like, okay, here's the situation. My brother's quitting. This is like his second to last show, so we can't book anything right now because we won't have a drummer for it. So
now,
there's no
was this
point.
when he took us outside to talk?
He took us outside because he wanted to try to set up something. So when we told him flat out, it's like we really can't schedule anything right now. And then he kind of like. His tone changed a little bit, and then he was like, all right, well, I'm still going to need you guys' pre-sale tickets and all the money that you you sold tickets for.
Oh man.
And we just said, we didn't even play. Like, we're going to find those people and give them their money back.
Right.
Like, that's not...
Well, on top of that, even if we did, like, Dan was the one who had the money, and he had already left.
Dan,
Right.
Yeah, Dan left right away. We all kind of talked.
Like, the second we all decided to leave, he noped out of there.
He was just like, I'm done, I'm gone.
Yeah.
So, he
Which
really
didn't he have?
shouldn't
He had
done.
people to, like, drive home, didn't he? Like,
Yeah, he had people he had to drive home to, but it was still just like, oh, okay, because he left us kind of in a crappy situation.
Mm-hmm.
So we told Jess, it's like, hey, well, the guy with the pre-sale tickets is gone anyways, and we didn't even get to play. Like, we
And
sold
how many tickets did you sell?
it was like 9.
Not even. It was like, I think it was maybe 9, and then like,
And how many people did they have at the show total?
oh god, 4, maybe.
No, like the whole show.
Oh, the whole show? Oh, hundreds.
Yeah.
They had hundreds of people coming in
so
and out
they
throughout the
made-
night and stuff.
a ton of money that night.
So yeah, it's worth saying that from here on out, all that went down was over 9 tickets worth of money.
Yeah. So they're freaked out about 9 tickets of money after they got hundreds of
Yeah.
people to come in.
So he starts saying, well, you need to get Dan on the phone and get him back here with my money. And we're just like, I can give him a call, but, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's already out of town because he was driving people home and stuff. And he's like, well, you guys need to get me my money.
Yeah,
it's
it was
like, all right.
the second that he realized that we didn't have any money to give him, his tone changed entirely from, oh, God, I'm so sorry, this is all my fault, I'll totally get you guys back for this, to, fuck you, where's my money?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he screwed you over and he's expecting you to still pay him.
Yeah.
All right, but I'm assuming it's going to get worse.
Oh, yeah, it
Oh, it
gets
does.
better.
Okay.
So he's getting irked. So we continue to pack up our stuff. We've got pretty much everything packed away. And then our bassist Ryan, he was outside chatting with him, and was it you? I told you or Joe to go outside and just kind of, because I mean I know Ryan can get a little hot headed, but like I was more worried just about freaking Jess, just because Jess was wasted. So it's just
Yeah.
like great, we're dealing with fucking a drunk ass. So I asked, I think it was Joe, to just go outside and kind of be out there with them kind of thing. And
And we were trying to work with him. Like, I remember we even said, just like, okay, dude, we'll get you the money, we just don't have it right now.
Sure.
yeah. So, and like, so we're outside now, and now we're all out there. So it's the 4 of us, plus another friend, Joey, remember him?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's 5 of us out there talking with Jess.
Was Joey your friend?
No, he was,
Or was
he?
he-
He was Dan and Joe's.
He was Dan. He was the.
Oh,
he
so
was Dan's friend.
he was a person on your side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're outside chatting with Jess.
Right.
Chatting.
Shutting.
And sorry, ended up it ended up kind of escalating a little because he ended up getting more and more frustrated because we said like, and I legitimately, now that this happened after, yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. So we're outside talking with him and he's getting frustrated and now the F-bombs are dropping and stuff and he's like, you guys need to bring me my fucking money. Like, you are not leaving here without giving me my money. And I was like, we didn't even play the fucking show. He's like,
Yeah.
you still sold tickets to my show. Like, those people came. And it's like, half of those people even fucking came. Half those people didn't bother showing up because they realized we weren't going to get to play until fucking 2 a.m., which didn't even happen at all anyways.
Right.
Yeah, and
So-
we were trying, like I said, we were trying to work with him. Like we said, it's like, we'll get you your money, we just don't have it now. And that's when, and then he proceeded to, he told us like, all right, well, empty out your pockets, give me whatever you have.
Yeah.
And we're,
Isn't that called robbery?
That's called getting mugged.
yeah, he basically was like, all right, well, empty your pockets, give me whatever you have. Like, yeah, he tried
So,
to mug us, and
friggin-
we were all like, no.
Well, like, Joe pulled out like a 20, just like, this is literally all I have, and he fucking took it. And it's like, and Joe puts his wallet away and stuff, and like, looking at everyone like, all right, take out your fucking wallet. It's like, no, pull your wallet back out. Give me everything you fucking have. And it was just like, what the fuck do you think you're doing?
Yeah,
like you're
that's-
not on a fucking schoolyard. You're not taking our lunch money.
Right. Well,
Like-
I mean, and okay, you're intoxicated. You fucked up the show. Like, it is his fault that you guys didn't play.
Yeah.
He should have went up to them and been like, hey, you guys, you got one more song. You're way over right now. We need this band to play at 2. And he didn't because he was drunk and he wasn't doing his job.
Yeah.
And he should himself pay for those tickets. And you guys should give the money back to the people who,
Yeah.
So I can kind of see not giving the money or giving him the money for the people who did show up and did watch some of the show. I can kind of see that, but
Yeah.
at the same time, they didn't go to see everybody else. Like, they went to see you guys,
Yeah.
and you guys didn't play.
So
So
he is getting more and more pissed off, and Joe and Ryan are in his face and stuff, and you're kind of trying to get between them a little bit.
Yeah.
So Jess ends up shoving Varric. So now we've gotten physical.
Oh man.
Yeah, it just got more and more heated, and
So I kind of step in there, and I'm like, all right, like, we need to freaking, and like, I ended up like, kind of motioning, like pointing my finger at it. It's like, all right, you need to just chill out. All right, we're trying to have like an adult conversation here. Like,
didn't he shove you as well?
and then well, the thing is, when I did that, he fucking smacked my hand away and shoves me.
So
now he's assaulted two of us.
yes.
So I look immediately, the second he does that, I look over to Joe, and I tell Joe, it's like, Joe, call the cops. He's assaulted two of us now.
Yeah.
Like,
why not? Get the cops
He's
involved.
drunk. He's probably got fucking priors. This dumb shit. Like, no, this is fucking a waste of our time.
I loved how his defense in that, like, as soon as you're like, Joe, call the cops, like, that's assault. He's like, you pointed your finger at me.
Oh God.
You pointed
Oh, man. I'm
fucking
so
finger
sorry.
at me.
Like, I wasn't even threatening about it, and it was just
I'm
funny.
sure you just kind of did the whole really quick, just like
It was just like a casual, just
It was a
like,
gesture.
Like,
Yeah.
now wait, we need to like calm down, kind of thing. Like,
Sure.
just kind of motioning towards him, kind of thing. Wasn't threatening at all.
no.
Like, so now he's fucking juking us, and he's just
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck you gonna do?"
Is he
Like,
aware that it's him against 5
That was
people?
the funniest fucking
So
thing.
if shit actually went down and he started it, you could have destroyed
It was him
him.
and fucking 5 of us, and it was just like the second you actually throw fists, like what's gonna happen? What did you think was gonna come of that?
Yeah.
Like,
Now, was this when the owner of Bubba's came out?
okay, so right before this, and this was right before the owner came out. So I fucking told him because I was just tired of this. So I said, all right, I'm gonna go inside. I'll use your fucking ATM. I will grab you $40. That is all you're getting. Shut the fuck up and get out of my way.
Yeah.
So I go inside. Their ATM is fucking broken. It doesn't work. So I came back outside and I was like, well, I tried. Sorry. We're going to get the fuck out. And he looks at us and he's like, all right, you drive to fucking Coburn's. You use their ATM and you bring me my goddamn money. And I looked right at him and I was like, if we leave, you aren't getting a fucking dime.
Yeah.
I am being completely straightforward with you. We are not coming back. Like, just straight up. Like, I'm
Because
sorry.
that was the thing. Is that would you come back?
No.
At that point?
Hell no.
No.
So he's fucking just pissed off. The owner comes out, and she's been drinking a little bit. She didn't seem like she was wasted like this other guy, but you could tell she was, she had a few in her. And the thing is, she had serious bar owner face on. So she comes out, and basically all she's heard at this point is that we're not getting the money that we're supposed to be getting from these guys. So she comes out, and I tell her right away, it's like, we didn't get to play. Like, that's literally the arrangement that was made. We sell tickets for your show. We get to play your show.
Yeah.
That's how this works, kind of thing. And your promoter just assaulted 2 of us. Like, we should call the police. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that we haven't yet is, like, amazing. She looks right at me and she says, you realize what you're doing is illegal. Like, that's theft. And I was just like, you realize what this guy just did is assault. And he is under your, like, he's working for you right now. Like, this is on you and your establishment. Like, do you really want someone like that associated with your place of business, kind of thing. So she just, and the thing is, she fucking just walked away. Like, she didn't sit there and, like, try to settle anything or try to diffuse the situation. She fucking...
Well, and I mean,
She fueled
slightly
it.
in her defense, she was getting fed information by this drunk, dumbass.
Yeah, but even
And-
after I explained it, she
Right,
was still
and
just
I
like...
mean, she should have come out there. Well, first of all, she shouldn't have been drinking.
Well, yeah.
And then second of all, she should have, really tried to understand the full situation before because really, honestly, what should have happened? It's 9 tickets. They made a bunch of money that night.
Yeah.
Who cares? Sure, you guys can go. We're really sorry about the situation. We can have you guys come in for a show whenever you want. If you don't want to, that's fine. We're really sorry about this. Bam! Fixed.
Yeah.
But,
level-headed people don't exist at 3 a.m. after fucking 5 shots or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just, it fell to pieces. So at this point, so she goes back in. We've told Jess now, it's like, because he's told us to go to fucking Coburn's and grab some fucking money for him, and we're just like, dude, we're going to leave. Like,
Yeah.
no, this is dumb. So we grab our shit. So now he's flipped, and he's just like, you know what? Just get the fuck out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
you
he's trying to save face, and he's like, yeah, I'm kicking you guys out. now."
just like, oh, I'm so sorry. Let's leave. So fucking, and we grabbed the shit we had with us, because at this point, I mean, it was fucking like 0 degrees out that night. We're all standing out in the cold for an hour screaming at each other.
Right.
So we grab our shit. It was like, God, fuck this. Let's just go. So we're actually walking away, and then Varric, I will leave the rest of the story to you.
Yes. Yeah, so as we're all walking to our respective cars, just like getting the fuck out of there, like he keeps like anyone out there like who's actually listening to him, he just keeps like bad mouthing us. You know, he does the whole, it's like, you know, these guys are fucking idiots, they're never gonna play in this town again. And then he says like just the crowning line of the night. Wait for it.
I'm excited. Here we go.
21 to win? More like 21 to lose.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and
biggest
like
zinger
my
ever.
car was right there. I was inside it. I heard it, and it took every ounce of effort not to just laugh my fucking ass
You should
off.
have. You should have laughed your ass
It
off.
was just the stupidest fucking thing to come out of another person's mouth.
So wait. The moral of the story here: never, ever play a show at Bubba's. Bam.
If Jess Johnson's promoting.
Okay.
No, I'm
Just
gonna
steer
go ahead.
the fuck
I'm gonna go
away.
ahead and say both.
Sure.
'Cause,
Because
yeah,
it was
after
the
that
owner
night-
also basically told you
That's
to go
true.
F yourself. So yeah, never ever play at Bubba's. I'm saying this as a person hearing it from a third party. They're dumb and it's a pain in the ass, and we shouldn't support businesses that don't know how to ethically handle complicated situations.
And
There
like,
we go.
Well, on top of that, like even more so than Bubba's is never ever play a show booked through Jess Johnson, because
All right.
he is a fucking asshole.
There we go.
especially
You heard it here.
Like, and apparently, you know, and you know what? Maybe if he's booking at a venue that doesn't serve alcohol, maybe he'd be fine.
You know he'd never do that though.
Probably not. You
Now,
know?
the funny thing is that we'll fast forward a little bit to the Red Jumpsuit show. This is just a really quick tangent.
fast forward.
So
like,
fast forward to the Red
what,
Jumpsuit
This was like
show.
4 days later.
Yeah.
This wasn't even that long. Like,
And
thing.
we were playing the Red Jumpsuit show at the garage, and it's booked through Leo Presents, which is through Bobby Olson. Now, Bobby Olson and Jess Johnson, I don't know if I'd call them like, I don't know if they're friends or acquaintances, but they have worked together in the past, so they have probably.
I had
talked.
heard that Jess actually learned some promoting stuff through Bobby. I'm not. I don't know that for sure.
Which,
but,
to be fair, you know, Bobby Olson has a pretty similar shtick. He's just a lot more professional about it. He's a lot more respectable about it. You
Yeah.
know,
He doesn't get hammered at shows.
Yeah, oddly enough, he
surprisingly.
does. So he comes up to us because you know we also sold tickets for the show. We had the money, we were smart about it, and as we were giving it to him, he was adding up all of it, making sure the numbers were all right. He leans over to me and is just like, "So I hear you guys had a pretty fun show last weekend," and it's just like, "Yeah, I'm sure you heard a version of the events." And he's like,
a
"Yeah."
version.
He's like, yeah, a version. I know. And then the only thing he said on the situation was, well, that's what happens when you book a show drunk. And then he just leaves.
Yeah.
Damn. So
So-
he sided with you guys essentially.
He might have. I mean, to be fair, he probably wasn't too happy that we didn't get him his money. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, when you are that drunk and you're trying to run a show, who can you really blame?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you guys, if he would have been not drunk and a lot more polite, you guys probably would have given him the money of the people who showed up.
Yeah. No. And the thing is that
if we had had the money with, because to start things off, we never did have the money. Like
Sure.
Dan left, he's the one who had it.
Yeah.
But if we did, and he was just more respectful about it, yeah, what the hell? Why not?
Right. And I mean, if he wasn't drunk, he
Like, if
probably
he
could have
stressed-
actually been like, okay, but this is why you guys need to give me this money, and then probably like, I can understand why you don't want to give me the money of the people who didn't come, and I suppose we don't have to, but it
Because like I imagine that if he explained it, it's like, look, like the guys at Bubba's, they really, really want me on like the
Sure.
ticket sales, make sure all the numbers are right, and that we're not like stiffing people for tickets.
right,
We would need the money. That'd be understandable.
right.
I feel like it would be.
Well, yeah, and then I mean, if you could have just had like a freaking like conversation without so much intoxication in the way, it probably would have worked out fine, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
What was
You
really
know,
funny
but-
was after the fact, like a while down the line, we were talking to our old bassist JC,
yeah.
and apparently they know each other.
They they know each other because I guess JC ended up dating like Jess's ex or something.
Huh.
And Jess doesn't like JC. So we started like,
So we asked him, it's like, okay, had he had still been in the band, how do you think this would have went down? And JC, like, I don't know if you ever met him, but he's kind of a bigger dude. He's ripped like Jesus. He's
He's ripped like Jesus.
and he's taller, he's built a little better than.
he's taller
you
and
know.
he can handle his alcohol a bit better.
So it was just kind of like, you know, if JC was there, God, I don't know if Jess would have made it out of there alive. You know, not saying that JC would have fucking killed him.
Didn't
but
JC
like,
say, like, straightforward, just like the second that, like, I was shoved, that he would have just tackled him to the ground and waited until the
JC
cops
said
showed
that
up?
the second that Jess saw him, they might have threw down. Like, so it wasn't even like,
Maybe it's a good thing he wasn't there.
yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I just feel good knowing that, like, he would have defended me.
I'm proud of. Oh, he basically said the second that he would have touched my little buddy, referring to Varric.
That's me.
He, like
I'm his little buddy.
shit would have fucking went down. So, but I was proud of everybody just because we actually kept our cool. You know, no one shoved him back.
Yeah, that's pretty
You know,
surprising.
nothing- no one
Especially
fucking-
at
Well, that's
3 in
'cause
the
we're-
morning when you're tired and you're not
Just pissed
completely
off and-
thinking, and you're just so mad throughout all of the events of the night. You would just want to, you'd want to beat the living shit out
No,
of the
we were
guy.
all
But,
just.
but here's the
fuming.
thing.
Yeah.
We are adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys weren't trashed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you had
I-
a job to do.
I did laugh at because when we were at the red jumpsuit show, like they have that kind of holding area, like in the back, that like skate park area in the back, 'cause it's like a big youth center kind of thing, and
Yep.
behind the stage. And before the show kind of got rolling, there was at least one other band there of like it was younger kids. It was like 18, 16, like you know that kind of age range kind of thing. And Varric started kind of telling like one of the guys, I think, like kind of what happened.
Yeah, it was this December.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were there, and I was friends with their frontman Cody Oakes.
So he starts kind of just like riffing about
I start going
kind
into
of
the
what
story and-
happened, and all of a sudden people start flocking, and all of a sudden you have Varric kind of standing up on like the top of the skate thing, speaking down, basically preaching the gospel of just how this
Well,
guy is an asshole.
It
like,
wasn't
to
even
this
so much that this
crowd
guy
of
was an
people.
asshole, but like at this point, I was so sick of how the quote unquote like business of this show worked. Because the thing
Yeah.
is like looking more and more into it, like here is how promoters like Jess Johnson like to book shows, and it's like you get a big name like American Head Charge on it, you do that. And then you book really, really shitty bands that nobody knows about, and that
Sure.
they're new, they're inexperienced, and you tell them straightforward, it's like, all right, you need to sell, so you want on the show, you need to sell like 50 tickets, or else you can't play. And
Yeah.
and the bands, not being like experienced or anything, they'll be like, well, shit, we gotta sell all these tickets. And what they're doing is they're promoting to fucking everyone they know. They're selling tickets to their families, their friends, getting anyone they know to come to the show. And they are essentially doing his job for him.
Yeah.
Because they're promoting the show. And
Sure.
then he doesn't have to do
Anything?
anything. Because all he got was the headliner, which they'll draw their own crowd, whatever.
Right.
And then you just threw all these other bands on it. And that's exactly what's happening here, because I'd never fucking heard any of the other bands on the American Head Charge show. Not saying anything bad against them, but yeah, they were all they were all lesser known. They were not really big in the local scene.
We weren't the only band that didn't get to play. There was another band, and the thing is, the other band they were all under 21, except for like maybe one of them.
So they had to leave?
No, they were fucking like trapped. They were in a room in the back because the bar had told them, it's like, well, you can't be out with the normal bar area. We have this side room you guys can kind of hang out in, and you can stay in there, but you can't be in the normal bar area. They were in there all night.
Wow.
The only time they could leave was to like go to the bathroom, and like that was it. Like, so it's like, well, at least the bar is on top of their 21 and under shit, like kind of thing.
Which,
but,
for the
like,
record, they weren't, because I was free to roam the whole night.
that's true. Varric was just whatever, who cared? Like, but this other band who was, had 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds kind of thing.
Wow.
And they were, so they were in this room the entire night. Like,
I hope those guys didn't give the money to anybody.
I don't know. The thing is that they might have given them the money right away. Because the one thing that Dan said when we first got there, the second that we realized our set was being moved from opening to after midnight, Dan said, I'm not giving him any money until we play.
Sure.
Because it already, right away, was like,
It was
this
like,
sounds
we
sketchy.
might not play.
And on top of all of this, I did hear that, fucking Head Charge was fucking in their bus half the night beforehand, like, doing coke and shit. I can't confirm that that's legit, but, I had heard that, and it was just like, well, why the fuck did they take an hour to set up? And it's because they were fucking doing lines in their bus. So it's just like,
Which, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Which, in the defense of Jess Johnson, that's something that would be more out of his hand. But,
Yes. But the fact that every other band went over time, that's on you.
Yeah.
That's when you fucking take the thing and shut off the power and say, you guys are 15 minutes over, you're done. Like, you were done 15 minutes ago. Like, 5 minutes over or something, or finishing a song is one
Right.
thing. But when you've played an extra 3 songs,
Yeah.
like,
Or, playing one extra song
yeah.
is like, okay.
Like,
I
if
don't
the crowd's
like that.
into it, it's
Don't
just
do
like, can we
that,
do one more?
but
Can we do one
okay.
more? Whatever.
Yeah.
It's time to preach the gospel of pay to play and why it's a big fucking mess. Please do.
What is pay to play?
Okay.
Varric, you want to give him the gist of pay to play?
All right. Before I get too into it, I should just say that like none of what I'm saying is fact; it's opinion, which is kind of in the disclaimer of this podcast. That's
Yeah,
my
this
phone.
entire podcast is that, by the way.
Yeah, is just us, talking about stuff that we really have no idea what we're talking about.
There's the disclaimer at the beginning, so don't worry.
What we mean by the whole like paying to play sort of thing is the whole like, okay, you're not gonna be able to play this show unless you sell X amount of pre-sale tickets. And
What do they do if you don't?
it seems to be different every time. Like I've been to shows in cases where like we didn't sell the amount of tickets they wanted us to sell, so they actually like bumped us down, or like it's usually a lot of talk. Again, because they want to get like younger, stupider bands to be like, oh man, we have to sell these tickets or else they're not going to let us play the show.
Yeah.
In actuality, if we drive all the way there and we have all our shit with, 99.9% of the time, the person will be like, fine, whatever.
Right.
But
Because, what are they going to do? Have a half hour of silence?
But the thing is that, yeah, it's in their best interest that the band plays anyways. And it's a really, really shitty philosophy because it's that sort of thing. Like, that's the reason why, like, that's the reason local scenes die down and everything like that is because it's so... Yes, phone?
Yeah. We ran into that problem. I mean, the thing is that we had that kind of overlooming thing with almost every show we played. There was always this kind of thing in the back of your head. It's like, yeah, we got on the show. Oh, by the way, we had to kind of tell them we were going to be able to sell 35 tickets to this. And we're like, dude, I don't know if we're going to be able to sell 5 of these. And it's just like, yeah, well, that's how we got on the show. And it's just a fucked up kind of way to run it because it kind of, I mean, the kind of thing like with Jess, obviously it's not, I mean, he's much worse at his job than like a normal person, but like it is kind of the thing where like, when you're a promoter, your job is like to do the, booking and promoting and stuff like that. And now granted, that's not always the same job, but I feel like it should be. I feel like if you're the one who's in charge of booking the show, you should also be in charge of the promotion for the show. Now, when you contact the bands, I think it's totally fair to ask, how many people do you think you guys are going to be able to bring in? That kind of stuff. I wouldn't say, well, if you guys want to be on the show, you need to guarantee me that you can sell 30 tickets. Like, that's just bullshit.
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, and I think it should be more like, well, how many people do you think you can bring in? Like 20. Okay, well, we're going to need somebody who can bring in more. We're going to look elsewhere. I think that's legit.
Yeah, no.
If it's a bigger show, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But
Like-
I mean, it sucks when you're first starting out, because you have to deal with crap like pay to play, and that's dumb.
I definitely I don't have a lot to say on, why it's like situations where it's like it's at its worst because those are, everyone knows about that. But I've seen it done where, you don't have to do that. You don't need to rely on pre-sale tickets and still have an awesome show. A good example of that would be the Choir House in Malacca, which is run by my buddy Sam Fassler. Was before it got shut down. And the whole reason why it worked is because Sam was a guy who actually could put together on a show and promote it on his own.
Yeah.
Because he had that many connections, just to the scene from his own experience. He would put Alistair Hennessy, Valor Tracks, We're the Blog, at the front of the show, and just kind of get whatever band wants to be on it, and then he'd always save the first two or three opening spots to really, really small time bands, the 18-year-olds who are just starting out. Because we were on that even when we were first starting.
Yeah,
out.
no, we did a couple of those, I think, where we were kind of in those first few slots.
And the thing is, he would occasionally print out tickets. I know that was a game he tried to play when he was first starting.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would print out tickets, but it wouldn't be that big of a deal if you couldn't sell them.
I know there is a little bit of a difference too because the thing is because I don't know. The choir house was kind of it had its genre. You know, that was kind of like the choir house had its fans, not just necessarily the bands that came in. The choir house itself had that kind of like community kind of feel to it almost.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like
just like it didn't matter like who was on it. It was a choir house show. You go to it.
that's the thing, is that there was a lot of people who were like, oh, the choir house is having a show on Friday, we're gonna go. Like, that was just it. But part of that is just because that scene, there's a lot of people who are. There's a lot of like, I support local music people in that. There's a lot of people who want to see those bands and want to see new music and stuff.
Well,
not every scene has that kind of fan base.
Because, like, the Java Joint was a place where people would go there because it was the Java Joint.
Yeah.
And that's where they hung out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was a music scene for, like, under 21s, pretty
Yeah.
much. Because, I don't know, it worked.
Yep.
You know, and I think a big reason why, you know, booking shows and stuff kind of sucks is because they it's tagged to a bar. Like,
Yeah.
it's always a bar, and then the show is what they do on the side. Whereas if you have a place that's actually like,
A venue.
we
Like a
play
venue.
shows here, this is a venue, and we also have a bar, but the bar isn't our main thing, the venue is our main thing.
Yeah.
That's when you can get people to come to a place, because they're coming to the place for the music. They're not coming to the place for the alcohol.
Well, that's how most bar shows works. Is that like, it's honestly, people only. The only reason that I would ever go to, I mean, like X bar or something, is because I know that this band that I really like is going to be playing there. I would not go there normally though. Like, and that honestly just is because the music bars, the bar music scene, that's just kind of how that works.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, bars have regulars too, but bar regulars aren't always there for the music. They're just
No.
there because that's where you can get fucking Mick Golden for
Yeah.
$2 up.
Yeah. Well, and I
$2 a
mean,
thing,
and
like,
and yeah, the people who are regulars at a bar are there because they like the scene. And honestly, a lot of regulars at bars, like, I know when I go to a bar that I like to go to, and there's a band playing and it's kind of shitty, I'm like, this is annoying. And it kind of, like, I don't like it then. You know, for instance, like at the Keller Bar plays a lot of, they have a lot of music.
Yep.
You know, but I kind of like the atmosphere of the Keller Bar and how it's really a bunch of misfits that go there, and I kind of like that. And but whenever, like, sometimes I'll go down there and somebody will be playing and I'll be like, yeah, these guys are okay, but I'll always stay pretty far away. I'll usually sit in the booths and I won't actually get like right up next to the band. I don't know.
It's really hard to keep a community together when the only venues are bars.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why it's really hard to have a scene in St. Cloud, is because we don't have a lot of venues, but we do have a lot of bars.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Well,
yeah,
and we used to have, like, because there was the Java Joint, and then there's
Cheap Thrills.
Cheap Thrills, yeah. But
was
then
one.
There was also
didn't they
a-
shut Cheap Thrills down because it was too colorful or something?
They painted over all the graffiti
Right.
on the
And then
side a
didn't
couple
it
years
die?
back. They ended up, it got shut down or something. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Because it was like a thrift store too, wasn't it?
Sort of. Yeah.
It was one odd concoction of a building, but it was neat. Like, the people around there were.
I know part of it is too is just kind of who you're marketing towards, because the thing with the choir house too is there's a lot of people that go to the choir house that are between the ages of 14 and 18. You know, there's a ton of people because
Yeah.
that's just kind of that scene. You know, like a lot of them are younger, but the thing is that if you offer a show that's not in a bar, that's $2, like, you're gonna pull in everyone and their freaking dog.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you've got people who now want to be regulars to these shows because it's affordable. It's, not like it's not like, it's not a bar, so there's no age restrictions or anything like that. And you pay like a little bit of money and then you just get to hang out with your friends and watch like a ton of bands play and stuff, and it's just a fun time kind of thing.
Yeah. And what's nice about it, especially like venues like the choir house, is like the atmosphere is very non-professional.
Yeah.
Like the choir house, have you ever been to there?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
You never will.
You never will. It was an actual like church like choir house building, just on someone's property. So like you walk in and there's just like it's just an open choir room, and you have the risers where they would stand, and an open floor. Those risers would be where the band would play, and then there was just this open floor, and that was that was the pit.
Huh.
And yeah, it had electricity, and not much else. And then
Yeah.
Sam built a drum riser there, and he had a PA set up, and that was pretty much it.
So
and
why
it
did
was
they
on private
close?
property.
Why did they close?
They closed because the house that was on it got foreclosed on.
Oh,
So the property itself was foreclosed on pretty
gotcha.
much.
Yeah, which he had tried himself to just like buy the property or whatever, but he couldn't just because he didn't have the money for it.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it ended up closing last year, July 27th. I was at that show. That was a lot of fun.
That like the choir house was definitely one of the most fun places to play. Like
Because that's the thing is, like, the second you walk in, like, if you're nervous about playing a show, it just kind of melts away. Because for one thing, everyone's super friendly. You're playing in a shithole. You don't need to sound amazing.
Right.
No one's gonna care.
And you're not playing in a shithole in the cities. You're playing in a shithole in Malacca.
in the middle of nowhere.
Right. So that's kind of
Half the people who are there are gonna be happy to see you just because you are a band.
Sure, yeah.
And that you're doing your part to contribute
That's
to
kind of the
scene.
nice thing of that kind of scene, though, is because there is, I mean, because I remember one time we played there, and the thing is, there are people who kind of like, 21 to Win. Oh, yeah, I know that band, like, by name. I haven't really heard them that much or something. But if you go up there, regardless if you're known or not, and you, like, just fucking throw down and play some great music, regardless if anyone's heard you before, you can still have that entire crowd losing their shit for you.
Yep.
Just because it's good. Like, that's it. They don't care who you are if you play good stuff. So that was one of the most fun shows for me because I'm sitting there and I have 5 people in front of me, like, singing along to songs and stuff and, like, just headbanging and going crazy and stuff. And that amps me up more.
Right.
Because I'm like, I want to put out more to get that energy back kind of
Yeah.
thing. And, like, which is crazy because, I mean, these people don't barely know who we are.
Yeah.
Like, we played here once. We've only had X amount of shows under our belt. And
Yeah.
Just like I think it was like 2 weeks ago, my band Insomniac, we had a show at it was in Minneapolis, and it was at this place called the Charlie Siren House. And the Charlie Siren House is a house where Charlie Siren lives.
Okay.
So that's where the name comes from. No, Charlie Siren is a pop punk band from Minneapolis, and they just have they have a house together, and the basement is completely open, and they
Nice.
just have house shows just there.
Awesome.
And we were put on the show by Correlations was the headlining band, and we're really, really good friends with them. They're really big in the scene, and we were just kind of like, we're still kind of just starting out. And what was weird about this show was it's Insomniac, and we're more like Red Jumpsuit, Hawthorne Heights, that sort of type of sound. And every other band on this bill was heavy as fuck. Like, they were either like really high energy hardcore or just like really just low growly deathcore. Yeah. I'm talking just like really, really heavy shit. And then like there were 5 bands, so you had like 3 of us, and then for whatever reason, like Correlations demanded that we play before them, just because we're friends with them. Sure. So you had 3 heavy as fuck bands, and then us just kind of playing pop punk.
And everyone was just like,
Well,
Alright.
the thing is, we were so fucking nervous about it because we're like, God, we're gonna be such a black sheep here. Like everyone's gonna like hate us, or they're gonna like not care or something like that. But the thing is that when we actually did start playing, we just kind of got into it, and everyone else got into it as well. It helped that we had like Correlations on our back, and like I remember their vocalists like when their vocalists and a couple of their members were just like, everyone get the fuck down to this basement. These guys are awesome. But the thing is like, yeah, it was just like that friendly atmosphere. We didn't have to worry about sounding too professional. We just kind of did our thing, and everyone got into it as well, regardless. And everyone came up after, was like, dude, that was so good. We even had clips was like, normally I don't get into that sort of music, but you guys fucking rock.
Yeah. But this is something I could like
It's-
actually like. It's kind of nice to be able to like, I forced you to enjoy yourself, regardless if you thought you would.
Basically, it was kind of like, because 21 to Win also kind of had a black sheep effect in the scene,
Yeah.
as well, because we were
we had that alternative heavy rock mix.
we were
that
really fucking
Didn't
weird.
fit with all of these.
We didn't fit
Well,
anywhere.
pop punk shows or metal shows.
right. Well,
Like,
because you guys you were like in the middle. Because like Dan's voice kind of, it was a little higher, so it kind of pulled you up a little bit. But then like the actual instrumental was a little bit more.
So we had instrumentals
heavy
that like, and the thing is, our instrumentals were all over the place too, because we had a couple really heavy songs, and then we had some alternative songs, and then we have some that were like
really
pop
poppy.
punky
Right,
and
yeah.
like that kind of stuff. It was a little all over the place. So We were just kind of like, let's take 5-6 people, and everyone likes different things. Well, let's just make songs work. And I think that actually is part of the reason why it did work, is because there was that compromise there. And then when the compromising didn't work, people left the band. But
I guess what I'm saying with all this is that sort of enjoyment, that sort of community, that sort of energy, you don't get that from shows that you play like at a bar or at some really fucking expensive venue opening for a national act. You don't really get that experience when you have to sell 30 tickets just to get anyone to come to the show, and the promoter's going to try to stiff you for all the money you have. Like anyone who is in a band, like listening to this, like getting started, like honestly, it's not really worth it to play those shows at all.
Yeah, I suppose it's not. Because like I hate to say this, but I don't know if you're really pulling in that many fans by doing things like that.
well, that's the thing, is like,
Especially if it's a show with a national act, because 99% of the people are going to be there for that national act.
And then
they might watch you, but they're not going to remember you.
what I've noticed is like, I mean, if you're going to play for like a national act or something, or if you're gonna go, because I remember when a bunch of my friends and I went and saw Coheed and Cambria this was like 6 years ago now or something.
Yeah, wasn't that the
it was Coheed and Cambria and
Star 4
Avenged
tour?
Yeah, and it was Coheed and Cambria and Avenged Sevenfold, and they both just killed it. But I will say that the band that played right before them was 18 Visions, and they were amazing. I'd never heard of them before, but I was there, and I so this band comes up I've never heard of, and I was like, all right, well, let's listen to them, and all that stuff, and we start listening, and we're just like, these guys are awesome. Like, this was just, it was so enjoyable, but unless you're on that kind of a scale and that kind of like skill set and stuff,
Right, yeah.
it's not gonna, like, I actually went and ended up buying their CD then, because I did enjoy that so much. But I mean, I could have been a rare case, maybe I was just like, I was one of the guys that they happened to hit in the audience that day.
Right, yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know, we're almost out of time, so I don't know, do you guys have anything else to say just as far as like the music scene goes? I guess I do want to know a quick background just of like what our experiences are, musically, like, because okay, I've been playing guitar for 9 years, 10 years, almost a decade. I'm not very good, but I've been in one major band, which was 21 to Win / Hollow. I'm gonna call that one band because it was pretty much the same guys, just name change. Played a bunch of shows, and I would say the most acclaim to me was that we did play that one show with Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, which I'd say was one of our best shows like to date, and that was like one of the most fun. And it was that's honestly, because that show happened, I'm totally comfortable being done playing shows, because that happened. So I'm just like, you know what, I helped write an EP. I have music in CD form, and I got to play with an internationally acclaimed band. Like, I got to play on the same stage that they did. Like, so it's like, yep, okay, bucket list, checked it.
Right.
But yeah, I guess, Paul, when did you start playing drums?
That's when I started hanging out with.
Because wasn't that like in 2006?
Sure, because Nils' brother Dan had a drum set in his basement, and all of my friends played music. So I was like, well, I need to pick up
I guess
something.
I have to do it now.
Yeah. So then I like slowly taught myself drums, which isn't really impressive at all because drums are really easy. you hit things.
I think it's for a lot of people, it's not easy. Like,
for real, it's you.
No,
hit
yeah.
things.
The thing is like, okay, for us three, we can all play kit. Varric, you two are obviously way better than me, but it was just one of those things where it was like, there are some people who sit down and they're just like, rhythm, no, can't do. There's just some people who just can't do it.
Anyway, so I kind of learned drums. The first song that I played drums to was Masters of War.
Come you Masters of War.
And
you build all the ball.
And that's like, I would have Nils play that so often just so I could play drums and feel cool. And then I started getting better. Like, I could just do the and then I got my own kit and I practiced at my parents'.
Well, because you got your double bass pedal when you got your kit.
Yeah, I got my double bass like right away.
And
I had a single bass pedal
helped.
and like
Because I remember you had it right away. Like, you
Yeah.
basically learned drums
with
the
a double bass. Yeah. Like, I'm really not good at drums if I don't have a double bass pedal, which is really depressing because, like, I just, like, my feet can do so much more than my hands can. Although I'm relatively fast, I suppose. I've gotten a lot better since I started playing again because I did put it down for like 2 years. Like the same 2 years that you didn't play.
Yeah.
It's probably the same 2 years.
Did
that
we
I
all just
didn't
get
play.
locked in closets for those 2 years?
I
Does
think we
anyone
did.
remember those 2 years? Because I don't.
Yeah.
I think I was getting drunk a lot.
From 2009 to like the 2011.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
like,
I was doing a lot of drinking.
Where was
That's when
I?
I found beer.
yeah, that's what beer tastes like?
Yeah. That's when I got over the whole beer is gross.
And then Varric, I mean, because like, you know, probably played drums and
Oh yeah, but then then I played drums for 21 to Win for a while.
2 shows, like
for 2 shows, yeah.
Yeah.
And then me and Victor are now working on a thing together, which is kind of slowing down a bit, just because we don't have a drum set anymore.
Well, it's kind of like, because it's this like rock opera-esque project,
Yeah.
sort of, but
You know, tomorrow I think I'm gonna work on, because you can take an old USB keyboard, and you can set it up to triggers, and then rig it so that you can make a drum set out of it.
Yeah.
And I have pretty much everything I need.
Are you just gonna play with like toothpicks?
No,
Popsicle
no,
sticks.
So what you do is you take the USB keyboard apart, and then the USB keyboard, really all it is it's a chip, and then it has a bunch of connections on it, and then depending on what 2 connections are made, that makes a character. And so when you hit a button, you're actually just completing a circuit Anyway, you're just completing a circuit from one connection to another connection, and then that means a character.
yeah.
So what a trigger does is it creates an electrical impulse on compression, and I have a bunch of because I have an electric drum set, but the module is dead.
Mm-hmm.
So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that and then wire it up to the 2 spots, because when it's compressed, it's going to allow current to go through it, which means it will then make that character. So then you can tie that character
To what
on
that part
Linux
of the drum is
to what
supposed
part
to
of the
sound
drum,
like.
yeah, and then you can make like a pretty professional sounding drum machine.
If you have like the right plugin.
If
and
you,
stuff,
yeah, and so I think that's what I'm gonna do here today.
That'll be
And
fun.
then you next.
I
Play a little bit of everything. Oh
a
yeah.
little bit of everything. My main squeeze is actually the bass guitar, which I started playing like fucking 7 years ago, maybe. And then I picked up drums. Yeah, I was in like 10th grade when I started picking drums, and that was like 5 years ago. And then I'm just now starting to play guitar more and more, but that's almost nothing. So yeah, I don't know. I play everything.
Yeah. I think we're gonna wrap it up there though. So we'll meet up again next week probably.
I feel like we learned a lot today.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on, Varric, and chatting with us about music and
It
stuff.
was fun. I'll be happy to come back anytime.
So, yeah. That'll be it.
All right, sounds good. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.